Buenas tardes. Les damos la bienvenida a esta conferencia en línea organizada por Inova Education junto con la Universidad de Southampton. Con nosotros el día de hoy está Cecilia Valdenea, representante oficial de la Universidad de Southampton en América Latina. En esta presentación les mostraremos todas las ventajas que tiene estudiar en la universidad, así como sus programas, sus departamentos, la vida en la ciudad de Southampton y cómo pueden hacer ustedes su sueño realidad de llegar allá. Cecilia, por favor a todos asistentes les pido que mantengan sus micrófonos en silencio. Eso nos ayudará a mantener una buena calidad de audio para todos. Muchas gracias y quisiera recordarles que la sesión de preguntas será al final y trataremos de responder todas y cada una de ellas. Muchas gracias.
Thank you, Hugo. We'll do the presentation in English if you guys don't mind. And I get stuck every single slide. So first of all, thank you everybody for joining us today. I hope this information that I will provide for you was useful. And again, if you have questions at the end, them in the chat box, and then we can discuss them and go one by one at the end. So I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Cecilia Valdenea. I'm the representative of the University of Southampton here in Latin America. And basically my job is to help you in the application process, as well with my colleagues from Inova Education. So yeah, I'm here to help you in your application process, talk to you about experience in the UK, life in Southampton, doing a master's in Southampton with us. And yeah, well, let's start. So why would you consider the UK as a destination to study a postgraduate program? Most people think that the UK is going to be very expensive, that the opportunities are very limited, but let me give you a couple of reasons on why you should consider studying in the UK. First of all, the quality of the universities. We have a lot of different programs. We have over 200 universities offering more than 50,000 courses. The universities are highly ranked in lots of different areas, and they're usually globally recognized institutions. Satisfaction rates are very high among students, even international students as well. Also, the UK is known because of its tradition and innovation. It's a very multicultural environment. We have students coming from all over the world to study in one of the best universities in the world. Plus, you would get the option to get some work experience and to improve your English as well. So UK university systems are a bit different than in Mexico and Latin America. Undergraduate programs usually last 3 years, although we have some programs that have an integrated master's. It means that you will graduate in 4 or 5 years, but with already a master's degree. Masters, if they're done full-time, they're 1 year. And PhD programs are usually between 3 to 4 years, and some of these options have the option to study abroad whilst you're studying any of these programs. So imagine that you have over 200 universities with more than 50,000 courses available. How would you choose just one, right? So I would mention some of the factors that I think you should consider whilst choosing a university or a place as a destination to do your postgraduate program. So first of all, I would like to mention the institutional quality. So the universities have an overall ranking that you will see on different websites like The Guardian or the QS ranking, the Shanghai ranking. So there's a lot of different options that you could look to kind of see if it's a university that's highly ranked. But more importantly, I would focus on the rankings on your area. So let's say University of Southampton is ranked 97 in the world, but in acoustical engineering is ranked as the best in the UK. In education is ranked as the second best in the UK. All of our engineering programs are in the top 5. In the UK. We're a very research-led university, so if you're interested in research, this would be a good option as long as we provide the area that you're interested in studying. Also, I would suggest the course offerings. Nowadays, it's already interesting that you can see all this information on the websites. All of the websites from the universities provide an overview of what the modules are going to be in your program, which optional modules you can take, the description of each module, which are the professors who teach in this area, the research staff as well. So I think it's very important for you guys to check all this information so you can see which university would be a better fit for you. So let's say if Newcastle, Southampton, and Birmingham offer the same course, then you could look at the offering of the courses to see which one would be a better option for you. Also, yes, I mentioned the staff and niche areas. It might be that one university specializes in something that you're more interested in than another one. Another thing that I consider important while choosing a university is the location and the size. So it might be that you want the big city experience, or unlike me, I wanted to live in a smaller city, but close to a big city. So I think Southampton, in that sense, for me, was a good fit because I wanted to live in a smaller city that wouldn't distract me too much from my studies. But if I wanted it, I had the option of being in London in just over an hour. So yes, nowadays you can find all this information on the website. You can find reviews from the universities from previous students as well. So yeah, I would recommend considering all these factors important while choosing a university. Something that I really liked about studying in the UK is that it's not just about studying. There are lots of other options for you to engage in social opportunities. There's usually at the beginning of your studies, the orientation and Freshers Week. So Freshers Week is like an introduction to your university, to all the activities that you're going to be available to choose or take part in, different modules. It's an opportunity for you to meet other students from your area, the professors who teach in your faculty. You get to know more people from lots of other backgrounds as well. We have what's called the Fun Fight, where it's like an exhibition of all the clubs and societies universities have. So it varies from cultural societies, sports societies, or social societies. Let's say if you're into Japanese culture, there's a Japanese society. If you're into chess, there's going to be a chess society. So there's lots of options for you to take part in different activities, as well with leadership and volunteer opportunities. I myself joined the Nature and Conservation Society, where we would go and just clean ponds and plant trees, but there's lots of other options for you to take in volunteering or leadership opportunities. Also, you're assigned an academic tutor at the beginning of the year. This academic tutor is going to be able to guide you with any questions you might have regarding the programs. If you're unsure to take one module or another one, or if you're struggling in particular with one topic, your academic tutors will be able to guide you through your whole studies and provide you with information that you're going to find useful in order to resolve whatever problem that you have. Also, there's the Welfare and Student Support Services. In case you're struggling to concentrate in one of the modules, if you feel certain anxiety because it's a lot of pressure to study one of these programs, and it's a different culture. If you need to speak to somebody, we have a Welfare and Student Support Service where you can come at any time in a drop-in session and speak to a specialist. So what would you need in order to apply to a British university? You would need to have graduated from a Mexican university with an average grade minimum of 8. That's what most universities require you to have as a minimum average grade. So the applications are done directly with our website, but my colleagues from Inova Education are very helpful in this matter as well. If you have any questions, I'm happy to help. You would need official and translated transcripts and certificates from your recent education. That means we would ask you for your título and your transcripts translated into English by a certified translator. You need to take either an English language test. This would be an IELTS of 6.5 or TOEFL IBT of 92 points for most programs. And now we understand that this unexpected situation with the COVID-19 virus is affecting our lives in many ways, including all the English testing centers are being closed at the moment. So we are accepting for this year, we're accepting Duolingo tests. My colleagues from Inova Education can give you further information, and as well I can send you an email with more information and the link if you wanted to go for this option. I know IELTS and TOEFL IBT are looking into home testing as well. The university is discussing whether they would accept this or not, or if there would be any variations on the topic. But I can help you in this matter if you have further questions. We would also ask you for 2 letters of recommendation, either from an academic or an employer, or one of each. And we would also ask you to provide a personal statement. For those of you who haven't written a personal statement before, a personal statement is like an essay, basically, where you are demonstrating to be passionate about the topic, where you talk about your motivation behind wanting to do a master's degree. It needs to have good structure. It needs to have a good grammar, punctuation. You need to demonstrate that you know about your subject area, and talk about what's your interest behind wanting to do a master's. You can also mention how you meet the criteria. What would make you a good candidate for us to consider you to study with us? And yes, how you fit the profile, and basically what are you going to get this out of this master's once you graduate? What's your plan afterwards? What are you hoping to achieve from this? And yeah, more or less, what's your career path? It's usually between a page, 2 pages long. So yeah, those are basically all the requirements that you need in order to apply to the university. Again, you send your documents to my colleagues in Unova, and then they can help you with sending your application. So now the interesting part, finances. So programs vary from 16 to 24,000 pounds a year, and we estimate living expenses to be around 19,000 pounds more or less for the whole year, and inside London it's usually around 11 to 12,000 pounds a year. But the good thing is that we work with different kinds of scholarships, including the ones that are mentioned, and I will go through each of one of them. So, sorry. So yeah, we have an agreement with CONACYT, and if you decided to apply with a CONACYT scholarship, you would get 30% discount from our fees, because we have an agreement with them. CONACYT would cover 300,000 pesos for tuition fees, and then that would give you 770 pounds as a monthly stipend for you to cover your living expenses. And well, this is a website from CONACYT if you want to check further information. We also have an agreement with FUNED, and FUNED, they actually have a joint call with CONACYT for some programs. If you wanted more information, this is the website. And if you decided to apply for just the FUNED scholarship, you would get a 15% discount from our fees, because we also have an agreement with them. And same thing with FIDE or Banco de Mexico. We have an agreement with them where you would be getting 15% discount from us if you decided to apply for one of their loans. And I'm leaving you their website as well. There's also a evening scholarship, which is a British government scholarship. This is an excellent scholarship because they cover basically all of your expenses. It's a fully funded scholarship. They cover full tuition fees for any program, any faculty, living expenses around 1,035 pounds a month. They also cover visa and flight costs. And I'm leaving you the website for applicants in Mexico if you wanted further information. We also have, as a one-time only, the Latin American Scholarship for 2020 entry. It's a university scholarship for any Latin American applicant, any faculty. It would cover full tuition fees, £10,000 toward living expenses, and it's only for 2020 entry. So you can find more information on our website, but if you had specific questions, I am happy to help. So something that I really appreciated about studying in the UK is that there's a lot of support for international students as well. I mentioned already that you get an academic personal tutor. There's a lot of support for English language. Improve your English language. Let's say if your academic English is not on point, or if you're not used to writing 2,000 to 3,000 word essays, at the library we have workshops running weekly on how to improve your academic English, on how to structure essays, on how to develop critical and analytical mindset that you would need in order to finish your master's. So yeah, you can set up a one-to-one session, or you can also come to one of our sessions with more students. And I can tell you from experience that it's really helpful. We also have health service on campus. So we have a doctor, a GP, and a counseling service right on campus. If you're feeling unwell, you can come at any time and make an appointment, or if it's something urgent, you can go straight to the ER. We also guarantee accommodation for all of our international students. So if the course starts at the end of September, we would guarantee accommodation as long as you applied by August the 1st. And we have a visa guidance team if you have any kind of questions. I had a friend who lost his residence permit, and the visa team were very, very helpful with him in his situation. So that's something that I really appreciate about having on campus. We also have a career destination center. This career destination center can help you allocate internship opportunities, prepare yourself for an interview, help you prepare your CV in a more European standardized way. And I think it's an overlooked tool that the university offers for all of our students. If you wanted to take advantage of your position and acquire some working experience, this is an excellent opportunity for you to do so. And our Career Destination Center cannot guarantee that you're going to get a job, but we can guarantee that we'll give you all the tools to apply for jobs. And we offer the meet and greet service. So let's say you're accepted to the university, you get the scholarship, you come and study with us, you arrive to London Heathrow Airport, and you don't know anybody, you're in a new country. Well, we offer this meet and greet service. Well, we come and pick you up at the airport, and we take you to the place where you chose your accommodation. So we'll take you back by bus to Southampton, and we'll drop you at either the residence hall or the place that you chose to live. So I think this is an amazing opportunity. It's all cost-free. We don't charge anything for this. So yeah, basically we'll be picking you up at the airport and bringing you to your accommodation for free. And also it's really friendly faces, usually staff from the university or other students as well. Sorry, it's not changing. So yeah, I will go a little bit about the University of Southampton. I'll talk to you a little bit more about Southampton. It was founded in 1862 as a Hartley Institute. I mentioned we're in 97 in the global rankings. We're in the top 20 in the UK and top 10 for research in the UK. We're a founding member of the Russell Group. For those of you who are unfamiliar with the Russell Group, it's like kind of a British version of the Ivy League universities in the US. It's a very select group of universities. We're in the top in the UK for engineering. We're in the top 3 in the world for spin-out companies, which means that our students, if they come with an idea and they want to develop that into a project or into a business, we have a group of experts that will support our students to develop that idea into an actual business. Our research is internationally recognized, and yes, I think it's a very good balance between research, practice, and theory. We have over 26,000 students from over from which around 7,000 are international students coming from over 140 countries. And I would dare to say that around 300, are Latin American students, with around 60 Mexican students, I would say. Between research staff and like PhD and masters this year, we had around 60 Mexican students. We have different campus. We have 7 campuses, including one in Malaysia. And we cover most areas. We cover arts and humanities, social sciences, environmental life sciences, medicine, engineering, and physical sciences. We do not cover architecture, dentistry, and veterinary, but pretty much we cover everything else. Or interior design, we don't cover either. I mentioned that it's important to look at specific rankings. So these are some of the rankings where Southampton is ranked in the top 5 and the top 10. And as you can see, music, languages, engineering, health sciences have some programs that are ranked as the best. We have some programs ranked in the top 10. So while you're choosing a university, look into specific rankings as well. These are just some pictures from our facilities. And I mentioned that we have different campuses, including Highfield Avenue, Boulderwood. We have a National Oceanography Center that's right by the sea. We have a general hospital, which is a teaching hospital. We have a School of Art that's in Winchester. It's around 20 minutes from Southampton. We have Malaysia campus. And yes, Highfield is the main campus. And we have Avenue, which is the humanities one, and Boulderwood, which is where all the engineering modules take place. So something that I quite like about our campus is that you can find pretty much everything that you need over there. We have a student union, we have different shops, we have a barber shop there, we have around 3 coffee shops, we have a bar, we have a pub, we have the doctors, the GP is based there as well in Highfield. We have banks, we have shops, we have a sports center, we have a swimming pool, a climbing wall, we have an art gallery, a theater, a concert hall, cinema that I think is very cool because it's usually very, you can find all the movies that you can find in the movie theater, but it's cheaper. Let's say if you go to the movie theater, it can cost around 12-13 pounds, and cinema at the university is around 4 pounds, so it's way cheaper for students. We also have a comedy club. We have a very big library that's really, really cool. Has 5 different stories. I'll show you some pictures. Yes, the one right on the left, sorry, on the top left is our library. You can only see so little, but inside it has 5 different levels. We have a cafeteria there as well. This is one of the pictures on the bottom. It's also another picture from the library. Then we have on the top right, we have our life science building. And then underneath we have a ship. Oh, sorry. We have a ship that's used for research that the university owns. On the top left, we have Boulderwood, which is the engineering campus. On the right, we have the teaching hospital. And then at the bottom left, we have Avenue, which is the humanities and arts faculty. And then on the right, we have park. We can find a couple of parks here right next to Highfield, which is the main campus. Really nice to sit down and just take like read over there and enjoy the nice weather when we have nice weather. Yeah, I mentioned some of the clubs and societies that we have. I mentioned the Mexican Society. We get together and have different parties, but we also try to make it about culture, demonstrating, like, just showing our culture to other foreigners. We had a piñata contest, the Day of the Dead. We had an altar. We made tamales for Dia de la Candelaria, so we had different activities for you to engage when you're getting homesick. But there's also, yeah, the Brazilian Society, the Welsh Society. We have any kind of sport that you can think of. We have cricket, football, basketball, yoga, rock climbing, sailing, We even have a Quidditch society, like Harry Potter sport. But yeah, we have different options as well. If you're not so much into sports and wanted to take something new, we have theater, we have acro yoga, we have tap dance, we have a salsa society, cheerleading, cake decorating, tea tasting, wine tasting, scotch tasting. So we have different options. We also have volunteering societies. We have the Fish and Toast Society, which is an entrepreneurship society. Again, if you were interested in developing an idea for a business, this is a society for you. So I hope this can give you an idea of more or less the options that you can choose from when you go to one of these clubs and society reunions. I mentioned that we guarantee accommodation for all of our international students as long as they apply by August the 1st. Something that I really liked about accommodation is that they're very safe, they're comfortable, they're close to campus. You get included a bus pass on the accommodation fees. All of the residence halls have a bus stop right outside, and that link to all of the campus from the university. You get a bus pass already included, where you can use as many times as you want. And we have different options for accommodation. We have ensuite, which means that you have a bathroom included. You can also share the bathroom if you wanted a maybe more affordable option. You can choose it just to share the kitchen. You can choose it catered, which means that you will be getting food every single day, or non-catered if you decided to cook by yourself. So these are just some of the residence halls that we offer. We offer over 8 different options. We have City Gateway, which is just for postgraduate students. We have Wessex Lane, Mayflower, just right in the city center, and it's very new, it's very modern. Again, I mentioned it's very convenient to live in the halls because everything else is taken care of for you. Let's say you wouldn't need to worry about paying the bills or because they're already included. If anything gets broken down, it should be fixed within the following 48 hours. There's security guards right at the entrance. Nobody that doesn't live in your floor gets access to it. So in that sense, it's very, very convenient. This is more or less how they look in the inside. Again, depending on which kind of option you decide to choose from. But they're usually very convenient. They're very warm in the winter, which is something that I appreciate a lot. They can get very cold. Usually get like a common room where you can get together and play with your friends or have a reunion if you wanted. We also have the option to have like a studio. If you wanted more information, I can send you videos and 360 images for you to get a better idea of more or less how they would look like. Also, you have a laundry room in each building, so that makes life easier as well. So speak briefly about the city. So Southampton is one of the top 4 cities to live in Britain. It's ranked as the most affordable student city in England, one of the sunniest and greeniest cities in the UK. It's very rich in history. The Titanic left from Southampton. 1912, it was a Roman port. It's a cruise ship capital of Europe. It's just over an hour and 20 minutes from London by train. We have a population of around 250,000 people. So around 10–11% of the population are students. So this is how the Southampton docks look like. So yeah, we get cruise ships. A lot of cruise ships come into Southampton. Yeah, I mentioned our fun fact of the Titanic left from Southampton 1912. And so yeah, this is a map of the UK. Southampton's right on the south. We're just over an hour and 20 minutes from London, but we have lots of different cities that you can visit on the weekends because it's not just about studying. So this is where Southampton is. We have Portsmouth, we have Bournemouth, which is another sandy beach. We have Exeter, 2.5 hours away. We have Bristol and Bath. Bath is around an hour away from Southampton, and Bristol's about 45 minutes further. Then we have Cardiff, Wales, we have Reading, London is just over an hour and 20 minutes. What else? We have Brighton, an hour and 20 minutes. So there's a lot of things to do around Southampton that I appreciate a lot, because I would try to finish everything from Monday to Friday, and then the weekend you can go and explore. We also have a small airport, but we have direct destinations to lots of different parts of Europe, including direct flights to Spain, France, Germany, Ireland, if you want to explore that as well. We have a direct train to Gatwick, which is like an hour and 20 minutes, an hour and 40 minutes, I would say. And then we have a direct bus to Heathrow, which are the two main airports in London. And I can tell you can find really cheap flights from Gatwick to lots of different destinations in Europe. I can tell you that the cheapest flight that I've gotten is about 13 euros from Gatwick to Bratislava in Slovakia. So yeah, you can find really cheap flights. So these are just some pictures of the city. This is the Southampton bar gates. They're one of the most iconic places in Southampton. We have the Tudor House, we have Guildhall, where you can go and enjoy concerts, and then Southampton Docks. We also have lots of festivities. We have a lot of theater, concerts, festivals. We also have a soccer team, the Southampton Saints. We have stadium, St. Mary's Stadium. We have a lot of sailing competitions as well going on in Southampton, if you were interested in that. So really close to Southampton, we also have the New Forest National Park, which is right next to Winchester, which is that bottom left picture. We have a campus as well in Winchester. It's this really nice medieval town. It's just 20 minutes away from Southampton, and it used to be capital of England a long, long time ago. So it's very, very medieval. It's full of history. Then on the right, we have the Needles, which again, they're just over an hour by 20 minutes from Southampton. It's there in an island called the Isle of Wight. It's really nice. And then on the picture on the top right, we have Bournemouth, which is this really nice sandy beach, which is just 25 minutes away from Southampton. So yeah, you can find lots of activities to do really close to our city. And this is the end of my presentation. So this is my my contact details. Feel free to send me any specific questions, or we can discuss them here now. If you wanted to me to look at your specific situation, if you already applied or interested in getting more information. I myself studied in Southampton, so I can give you any kind of, can clarify any questions you might have. So is everything clear? Would anybody want to ask any questions?
Cecilia, muchas gracias por la presentación tan interesante sobre la Universidad de Southampton. Pasar un poco las preguntas que vayan pasando los estudiantes. Artemisa tiene dos. La first question is, which is the percentage of international students that gain a job in Europe? That's very specific. And the English courses are just for students or are open to the public?
They're just for university students. I'm afraid the English classes, like the academic English classes, are just for our students. We also offer language courses for our students. I forgot to mention this. We have over 13 options in our Avenue campus. But in terms of the academic tutoring classes are just for students from the university. And in terms of the percentage of international students that gain a job in Europe, I wouldn't be able to give you an exact number. This is because every year the situation changes. And again, the options for you to get a job or not depend entirely on the profile of the student. If it clarifies your question, in the sense of, I know students or friends of mine who have done their master's program with us in Southampton, and they've been offered a job where the company has offered them to pay for their to be their sponsors for the visa. But they were really, really good students. They had a very specific project, and the companies really liked their profile. So I cannot. It's not that I'm trying to discourage anybody, but there's a new policy for international students starting this year. I'm assuming that it will still go as normal as planned, but international students who finish master's programs are going to be able to stay 2 years after they graduate, where they can apply for a full-time working job. For a full-time job. But again, it all depends on your profile and how good you are as a student. Your experience, I'm assuming, will take part of that. I'm not gonna lie, it's not a big percentage of students who finish and then are offered a job, but I do know cases. How long before the program starts do we need to apply for the visa? If I'm not mistaken, and Ugo or Debbie, you can correct me, it's 3 months before you start your course, correct?
Yeah, that's correct.
Great, so yeah, about June, July, you should be applying for your visa, right?
That's right, around July or August, depending really on the student's funding means. That means either if it's with a scholarship or with their own funding. But yeah, the United Kingdom Visas and Immigration Department specifies that the visa can only be 3 months prior to the course initiation start date. Luz is also now. If they apply as a student, do they get an offer? Is it conditional or unconditional? And what do they need to do to get an unconditional offer?
So once you provide all the documents, that means your university diploma, transcripts translated into English, 2 recommendation letters, your personal statement, a minimum average rate in your English test, you will be offered an unconditional offer. It might be that if you're missing a document, that will give you a conditional offer. It also might be the possibility that they would ask you to pay for a deposit that you don't need to pay until you get results from your scholarship. That means if you're applying to CONACYT, FUNED, FIDE, Achieving, until you have results, you don't have to pay that deposit. So it might be that it's conditional to either one of the documents that you're missing, conditional on a deposit. And if you are waiting for a scholarship, you let me know, and I can help you extend that deadline for the deposit. But with that conditional offer, you can apply for scholarships. If it's just based on the deposit, if it's based on an academic requirement, that means that you haven't turned in your transcripts or one of reference letter, and that will give you a conditional offer. And you won't be able to apply for a scholarship with a conditional offer based on an academic requirement. If it's based on a deposit, then that's okay. I hope that clarified your question.
Thanks, Ceci. Are there any other? Luz says yes, thank you.
Welcome.
Due to COVID-19, are there English tests now applicable? Okay.
So due to the current situation that we're going through, we understand that there's very limited availability for you to take English tests due to all of the English testing centers being closed. You can now take the Duolingo test. It needs to be with a code from the university. My colleague from Inova can help you, can give you more information on that. Or if you send me an email, I can personally send you all the instructions for you to take the Duolingo test. It's actually cheaper than the IELTS or the TOEFL test. It's $44 or $49 if I'm not mistaken, but I can give you all of that information, and the good thing is that you can take it at home. Just need to follow the instructions. I know that IELTS and TOEFL are looking into the option of home testing now. The university is still looking into that option, whether we would accept and which ones and under which conditions, but for sure you can take the Duolingo test now.
Thanks,
You're
Ceci.
welcome. You're welcome.
Does anyone else has any other questions? We would be more than glad to help you.
No, is that all? Okay, well, if you happen, sorry, would you recommend the recommendation letter be academic or professional? If you have the option of having one of each, that would be excellent. You need two, by the way. Does anybody else have a question?
At this moment, if you don't have any further questions at this moment, please remember that you can reach out directly to Ceci or to Hugo or Deborah Cedeño. We will be more than glad to help you on your journey to go study in the UK.
Thank you very much, everybody, for joining us. If you're interested in having like a one-to-one session with me, you can always send me an email and we can schedule an appointment. And yeah, I can help you with any questions you might have. Thank you very much to my colleagues from Inova for setting this up and for organizing this event. And thank you very much for joining us. Again, happy to help with any questions you might have and hope to hear from you soon.
De nuevo, muchísimas gracias a todos por haber estado el día de hoy. Estaremos, les repito, pueden contactarnos sin ninguna inconveniencia y estamos más que ansiosos de poder ayudarlos. Muchas gracias por unirse el día de hoy.